One day, in retrospect, the years of struggle will strike you as the most beautiful.
The intention that man should be happy is not in the plan of creation. We are never so defenseless against suffering as when we love. The more perfect the person is on the outside, the more demons they have on the inside. Being entirely honest with oneself is a good exercise. A woman should soften but not weaken a man.
Experience teaches us that the world is not a nursery. Words have a magical power. They can bring either the greatest happiness or deepest despair. Everywhere I go I find a poet has been there before me. The ego is not master in its own house. Unexpressed emotions will never die, they are buried alive and will come forth later in uglier ways. Where ID was, their ego shall be. The voice of the intellect is a soft one, but it does not rest until it has gained a hearing. If youth knew, if age could. Everyone has wishes which he would not like to tell to others, which he does not want to admit even to himself. The first indication of stupidity is a complete lack of shame. Most people do not really want freedom, because freedom involves responsibility, and most people are frightened of responsibility. In the small matters trust the mind, in the large ones the heart. Men are more moral than they think and far more immoral than they can imagine. Friendship is an art of keeping distance while love is an art of intimacy. We choose not randomly each other. We meet only those who already exist in our subconscious. Dreams are often most profound when they seem the most crazy. Being entirely honest with oneself is a good exercise. The goal of all life is death. Flowers are restful to look at. They have neither emotions nor conflicts. The mind is like an iceberg, it floats with 1/7 of its bulk above water. Before you diagnose yourself with depression or low self-esteem, make sure that you're not surrounded by fools. All family life is organized around the most damaged person in it. A husband is almost always only a substitute for the beloved man and not this man himself. History is just new people making old mistakes. When inspiration does not come to me, I go halfway to meet it. Love and work. Work and love, that's all there is. From error to error, one discovers the entire truth. Limited sex leads to increasing the value of sex, just as no one can be forced into belief, so no one can be forced into unbelief. The great question that has never been answered, and which I have not yet been able to answer, despite my 30 years of research into the feminine soul, is what does a woman want? We are what we are because we have been what we have been. Love and work are the cornerstones of our humanness. Out of your vulnerabilities will come your strength. The madman is a dreamer awake. Thought is action in rehearsal. When people criticize me, I know how to defend myself. But I'm powerless in the face of praise. Civilization began the first time an angry person cast a word instead of a rock. We are never so defenseless against suffering as when we love. Limitation in the possibility of enjoyment raises the value of the enjoyment. Happiness is a child's dream fulfilled in maturity. Every normal person is really only partly normal. At a woman's breast, love and hunger are crossed. Recognizing a problem is half the success in solving it. Time spent with cats is never wasted. Sometimes a cigar is just a cigar. Dreams are the royal road to the unconscious. The only person with whom you have to compare ourselves is that you in the past, and the only person better you should be. This is who you are now. We enter the world with loneliness and lonely leave it. Without love we fall ill. We adults don't understand children because we don't understand our own childhood anymore. There is no need in childhood as strong as the need for a father's protection. Everyone knows nature and death. A woman will never want sex with a man who doesn't get her hints. Children are completely egoistic. They feel their needs intensely and strive ruthlessly to satisfy them. I have found little that is good about human beings on the whole. The first request of civilization is that of justice. The sexual life of adult women is a dark continent for psychology. Love is a state of temporary psychosis. A man who has been the indisputable favorite of his mother keeps for life the feeling of a conqueror. Knowledge is the intellectual manipulation of carefully verified observations. One might compare the relation of the ego to the id with that between a rider and his horse. A father's death is the most important event, the more heartbreaking and poignant loss in a man's life. The voice of the intellect is quiet, but it never tires of repeating, and listeners are found. Nothing costs so much in life as illness and ignoring an illness. The first human who hurled an insult instead of a stone was the founder of civilization. You do not stop looking for strength and confidence outside, but you should look inside yourself. They have always been there. The scope of one's personality is defined by the magnitude of that problem which is capable of driving a person out of his wits. No mortal is capable of keeping a secret if his lips are silent. His fingertips speak. Betrayal oozes from him through every pore. Perfect eternal hate, purified love exists only between the addict and the drug. Thanks for watching.